part of our Business Outlook 2023, I'm delighted to be joined by Rahul Patel, a director of BMP Healthcare Ltd, a Leicester-based group of 6 pharmacies. Rahul purchased his first pharmacy through Christie Co in 2018, and since that time has expanded rapidly with a further 5 pharmacies and has a further 4 in the pipeline. Welcome, Rahul. Really good to see you. Appreciate you're in a busy pharmacy, but thank you for giving us your time.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having me today.
No problem at all. I suppose, obvious question, Rahul, if we go back to 2018, looking back at your first purchase, if you could give yourself some advice in making that first purchase, what would that be?
If I was telling myself now, I'd say go for it. Try as hard as you can to ensure you look at the deals, look at the wholesalers, take a bigger view of a pharmacy, not just the numbers or the items, because community pharmacy nowadays is more than just items. You have to look at the bigger picture.
If you look at our 2022 review we published last year, one of the main issues, one of the main topics of conversation in the sector was around costs and workforce challenges in the sector. I suppose looking at that, rising costs of locum rates, etc., just wondered what your view on how that has been impacting the wider sector and what you think can be done about it. And then I suppose secondly to that is looking at it from your point of view and looking at how that's impacted your own group and what you've done to try and overcome those challenges.
These have been very difficult times. If I could say so, more than the actual when we went through a pandemic. What we're suffering now is a two-pronged approach, which is causing widespread issues across the board, not just as a business, but for patients also. The workforce crisis that we're suffering now isn't just limited to pharmacists. We're finding ACTs are short-staffed at the moment. We're finding quality dispensers a difficult time to get hold of. So it's not just one thing that's affecting us right now. And a lot of the people that were inherently in community pharmacy are now moving over to PCN roles or into GP surgeries, which again doesn't help. Overall, it's just making the sector a worse off place to be in. Patients are finding that pharmacies are closed, and the main reason is because people can't staff them correctly or adequately. And again, it's a vicious cycle. It's having a knock-on effect on staff morale, which means more people are trying to leave the sector. We've been lucky in my company that we've tried to mitigate these by doing numerous different things. One is we're trying to empower the staff themselves by retraining them, by giving them different roles, giving them more varied roles, which they're finding better job satisfaction out of, which has helped. Secondly, we're looking at efficiencies and how we can actually maximize each staff member's skills and what we can do in our pharmacies themselves to improve processes, which a lot of it has come down to automation and trying to improve everything via the efficiency route via that.
Rahul, you mentioned automation and the need to drive efficiencies in your business or improve efficiencies in your business. This is commonplace across the sector, and whether that's through automation for MDS, whether it's remote dispensing hubs or full automation within the pharmacy. Just wondered whether that's something you're looking to introduce or further introduce into your own business over 2023 and the next 2 or 3 years, I suppose.
We've invested heavily in this at the moment. We've spent a lot of time and effort looking at the different systems out there and seeing where we can use those in our own and seeing where we can improve on what we're doing. And that has led us to buy multiple robots actually, and from Christie Finance as well. We've invested in MDS pouch robot, we've invested in an MDS Dosset robot, and we've invested in 2 dispensing traditional robots as well. And each have had their place in what we've done in our business, and they've helped us improve efficiencies vastly. For example, the dispensing robots, we've ensured we've not actually reduced any staff, yet the they're more efficient. We're finding that they're able to carry out processes quicker, and they're saving even more time. This has in turn had an effect on the service level and how good the service is provided to patients currently, which has been phenomenal. Patient satisfaction is at all-time high. Now, with regards to the NDS, so being able to offer different systems has actually helped a lot of patients with compliance issues, and we've also had a, a vast saving on the number of time it's actually taken a dispenser and a pharmacist to check and make a pack. Now we've been able to at least improve our efficiency by over 150% with the same level of staff. And that still hasn't touched the tip of the iceberg. There's room for improvement as well, which we're finding with automation, uh, sky's the limit.
That's really interesting. And the point you make about, with the existing staff, you haven't seen any staff change. It's something where I think in the early days of automation, people thought it was an opportunity to reduce staff count or head count in the pharmacy. But actually, those savvy operators in the market now are looking at the fact that automation frees their staff up to be able to do additional roles, introduce further services to their business. So it's interesting to see that you actually completely agree with that, and that's your ethos in your own business.
I think that's been our key driving point. Uh, we are a community pharmacy, and it's got to the point where in high volume stores we are not having enough time to spend with patients. Having an automated process allows us that free time with patients, and we're going back to our roots of actually knowing who the patient is, being able to learn who their family is, and provide a better overall experience for that patient.
Rahul, just want to move on to COVID clinics. We're seeing COVID clinics throughout the country closing as fewer people are having the vaccines, though they remain in community pharmacy settings. You currently run 4 high volume COVID clinics. I just wondered what your views were on COVID vaccinations and how you're seeing that affect your own clinics at present.
Firstly, I think the COVID clinics and the opportunity that pharmacy has been given has been great. It shows the versatility of community pharmacy, the resilience, and the dedication we have towards the healthcare sector. Uh, yes, you're right. A lot of the clinics across the country are coming to a stop right now, and that is solely down to the demand. If in a month's time, NHSE turn around and say, we've got another outbreak, I can almost guarantee every single pharmacy will be jumping at the opportunity to try and provide a COVID clinic again for the government. Currently, right now, as it stands, it is a bit slower, the uptake's less, but we're still managing to reach the hard to reach patients. We've been lucky enough in the Leicestershire region where we've managed to go do housebound visits, go visit care homes, go to nursing homes, and also even go to schools as well to provide COVID vaccines. And in doing so, it again has shown the versatility of community pharmacy. Now it's not a choice, it's almost a certainty that community pharmacy now will be doing COVID vaccines in the future. And that just demonstrates how well community pharmacy are placed in this sector. Logistically, the network we have, it's second to none. Now more than ever, we should be using what we have to provide services to the large community, and that's what we're doing.
Sustainability has been a really big topic, not just in pharmacy, but across the wider economy. And we've discussed this with a few operators. We referred to it in our previous Business Outlook 2022 review as well. I just wondered what you're doing as a group or what you're looking to do to try and improve sustainability in your own business, and whether you think there is more that pharmacy can be doing as we go forward.
There is a lot pharmacy can be doing actually, and in 2022 we did actually have a real sit down with the heads of the company and decided what the best approach would be. And in doing so, there's numerous different things that we've implemented already. One being working alongside a local recycling company and making sure we are actively sending our waste, which can be recycled, and sending it to them. And they do offer a pickup service as well, which is great. Secondly, we've actively looked at what uh, disposable bags we have, the cartons we use, and if we're using biodegradable ones, are we using eco-friendly ones? And we are actively promoting the use of that. So I can comfortably say all of our bags are now biodegradable in the pharmacies. And we've also looked at the lighting as well. Now, the lighting, again, it's a big issue right now. We're having a lot of budgets that we need to review and cut. And our lighting, we've gone down the route of eco lighting, which has actually helped reduce our lighting bills. Has a two-pronged effect to us. One, it saves our money. Secondly, it's better for the environment. So other aspects we've looked at is even with our MDS, one of the automation services that we provide is the pouch service, and we've ensured that all the packaging is 100% biodegradable, but also that it's used, recyclable material is used in the processes of it. So that's actually helped a lot. One thing we did try was electric cars. And unfortunately, it didn't work too well just yet. I don't believe the electric vans currently, right now, are sufficient enough for what community pharmacy need. If you're doing 60, 70 drops a day, uh, a van that only has 100 miles range doesn't tend to cut it. And especially if it's a winter day, people are not going to be able to have a full charge of a van to use. And we found that it was one of the most bug-bearing things we found. So we actually bought an electric van and we exchanged it back for a normal van because of that. We have piloted it and we are looking at other ways to improve. And every day we're looking at different things. We've also been in talks with a label provider. It's not the label itself, but it's the backing of the labels, which aren't actually recyclable material. So what we're looking at is backless labels to see if something like that might actually help reduce our carbon footprint. So it's something that we're actively looking into, and it's something that we're reviewing at least 2 to 3 times a year just to see where we can make improvements, because one, it's better for the environment, and second, it sometimes is better for our pockets as well.
If you cast your mind back to 2019, when the 5-year deal was announced and fixed funding for the 5 years beyond, obviously moving towards 2024, the sector's negotiators are going to start discussing that in more detail with the department. And I just wondered what your views were there. Obviously, in 2019, we were in a low inflationary economy. We couldn't be in a more different economy than that now. So I just wondered how you found the impact of the 5-year deal on your business, and I suppose what you're hoping for when the sector negotiators do go into discussion with the department.
You're right. The current model is unsustainable with the inflation rates right now and the minimum wage increases and everything that are happening in our own sector. It is unsustainable. We have to have a better funding model. But in 2019, when this was agreed, I believed it was a step in the right direction, in the sense that they're looking at services, looking at implementing new services, more services, and funding additional services. And we have seen this come, maybe slower than I'd liked it to have happened, but it has happened. We've got the contraception service now, we've got the hypertension service, the NMS service has been extended and includes more items than ever before. There's a lot more new services that have come in as a direct result of the model that was established in 2019. It is going in the right direction. Fast enough? No. It needs to go faster, and we do need better infrastructure to actually support, and it has to be more fluid. It can't be as strict as it was when 2019 it was agreed, because we are suffering greatly right now. If there was a new deal to be had, it has to be flexible. It has to reflect the current market fluctuations and the pressures that we face currently right now. My only concern would be that we take a step back and we start focusing more on items and the dispensing fees and not focusing on services. The new model should look to promote actively learning and training and improving what the current staffing levels have, but also it needs to promote even more services. If you can look at chronic illnesses, try to reduce the work stress and load for the GPs, it may put pharmacy in a better position for the future.
Moving on to the market and the sector, Rahul, just wondered what opportunities you see for growth in the market in 2023.
I think community pharmacy needs to develop a very strong service arm. I'm not saying we don't have one already. I think it's a very strong arm already. Yet we need to diversify further into what we can offer from our consultation rooms. We majority are offering travel clinics, flu vaccinations, but developing further into earwax removal, or if we can start doing phlebotomy services, it's something that if pharmacy can develop further into what they can provide in-house, it might just provide a better patient experience and just gives you an entire new area to grow into.
Finally, I'd just be really interested to see what your long-term view of the sector is, and also what your own goals are for yourself and BMP Healthcare.
We're looking to try and solidify the service offering that we do have. I believe it's key, and I'll say it again, and I've said it before, services is the way forward for pharmacy. Dispensing fees is going down, establishment payments are going down. So the only thing we can offer are services, and it gives pharmacy and clinical minded pharmacists a good platform to develop from. So going forward, my stores will focus a lot more on services, and to ensure that I'll be providing a lot more time and effort for them so they can actually train and develop their skills further. That again should hopefully lead to workforce being happier and workforce retention to be high.
Thank you very much for that, Rahul, and that brings us to the end of our discussion. Thank you very much for taking time to speak with us. Obviously from a busy pharmacy by the sound behind you, but thanks very much for that, and may we wish you a really prosperous 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you.